I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
The
More
You
No
Podcast.
Today I want to discuss Thom Shea's 13 Adamantine Lessons that he discusses in his book Unbreakable. So Thom Shea served 23 years as a Navy SEAL. He served in 3 wars and earned a Silver Star, a Bronze Star with Valor, an Army Commendation with Valor, and a 2nd Combat Action Medal. Now he's a leadership and human performance coach. So these lessons will assist in becoming unbreakable in life. And before I go through these 13 lessons, I want to quickly define what adamantine means. So adamantine is a thing that is not tangible, but when it's consumed, makes anything unbreakable. And so now that we understand what adamantine means, I now want to go through the 13 lessons that will assist in becoming unbreakable in your own life. The first lesson is to truly get in touch with your internal dialogue. And a lot of people think internal dialogue is the same as self-talk, and it's not. What your internal dialogue really is awareness surrounding your body, wealth, intellect, spirituality, and relationships. And it's manifested in how you look, how you perform, your relationships, your religion or spirituality, and how much money you either have in your pocket or are putting in other people's pockets. The second lesson is to encounter fear. And it's important to understand that fear is nothing more than an internal dialogue that stops you from acting. Ultimately, when having an unbreakable life, you're owning fear and adjusting your internal dialogue in order to take action. The third lesson is to master the body and your physical abilities, as well as push yourself to the point of true exhaustion, pain, and maybe even being sick in the effort. When you face exhaustion, pain, and sickness, ultimately the gift that comes with this is by pushing yourself through a physical endeavor that creates exhaustion, pain, and even becoming sick, maybe puking or something along those lines, you're creating a clear and tangible example of being broken down and pushing through that and overcoming it. And in order to do so, even though it's physical, you must have the proper internal dialogue to get through it. The fourth lesson is to understand that new relationships need to be created every day, and you need to maintain the relationships that you already have, as well as value them. Ultimately, the point is to create love using your internal dialogue. The fifth lesson is mastering spirituality, as well as to understand that hope and faith are not spirituality. And what Thom Shea is ultimately suggesting with this lesson is that spiritual people don't use hope and faith because truly spiritual people don't need faith. They just know. And what this lesson all really comes down to is that it's important to master your own internal dialogue and then reshape it away from hope and faith. And doing this will enable you to know and relentlessly act on the connection of that divine power that you believe in. The sixth lesson is that your point of view regarding everything in life is shaped solely by you and you alone. And what that means is that in order to reshape your point of view, you must be able to master your internal dialogue. Ultimately, your performance in everything is relative to the point of view that you have, and your point of view can and will change, but purely relative to your connection with your internal dialogue. And Tom's real point with this lesson is to never let your environment dictate your point of view, and instead shape your point of view with the masterful stroke of your internal dialogue. Doing this is the essence of having an unbreakable life. The seventh lesson surrounds relationships, and what it is to connect your efforts to the efforts of others, understanding this is the key to human performance. You must not only have a purpose surrounding your efforts, but that purpose must surround providing value to others. The eighth lesson is to value mentors and masters, as well as the importance of being the student and willing to learn. And ultimately, once you're willing to allow mentors and masters into your life, you will see people all around you who are willing to help and provide value in your life, as well as perspective. The ninth lesson is to establish an internal dialogue surrounding never giving up. You must learn to listen to your own internal dialogue, and from there learn to be relentless. You must be able to tell yourself to never give up, never, no matter what it is. The 10th lesson is to test yourself to see how well you understand your internal dialogue. It's ultimately being able to feel energetic and grateful in challenging times, and to feel alive at all times. The 11th lesson is to encounter death. It's important to see and understand what death does to your internal dialogue. And death is partly metaphorical in what he means. It's not just simply someone or your pet dying. It can also be a relationship that's over or something along those lines, where it's ultimately a death in some way, where whatever experience or relationship or aspect of life is over. And ultimately, if you can't master death itself and getting over loss, you'll never master your internal dialogue. The 12th lesson is that you must be willing to contribute as well as be contributed to, meaning that you must serve and help others as well as be willing to receive help from others. The 13th and final lesson is very important to understand, I think the most important, and this is that the past and all things that have happened to you in the past, and even the past of others, is only carried forward in internal dialogue. That is the only place it truly lives. So whenever you're thinking about your past, or someone else's past, or if somebody else is thinking about their own past, it's crucial to recognize that it's just your internal dialogue, it's not the truth, and it's ultimately a form of an imposter speaking in your head. You are in no way your past achievements or failures, nor is anyone else. So never forget that the past purely lives in internal dialogue, and it has no tangibility surrounding the present moment, or what you or anyone else can do in the future. Understanding these lessons and applying these principles in your life will truly make you unbreakable, like Thom Shea says. And living an unbreakable life is also synonymous with living a life of significance. I hope this talk makes a positive impact in your life. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening or watching it, check out other episodes, leave a review, and follow us on social media at More You Know Pod. Also, please don't forget about our sweepstakes. Retweet a clip with the hashtag #TheMoreYouKnow and new podcast from our Twitter for a chance to win a signed copy of my upcoming book, The More You Know. Tag 2 friends in the comments on a clip on Instagram for a chance to win a brand new copy of Dean Graziosi's Millionaire Mindset or Ed Milet's Max Out. Like us or share a clip on Facebook for a chance to win a book I have read that highly inspired me, signed by me with an inspirational message. Again, thank you for listening as we propel with podcasting through the more you know.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
The More You Know Podcast.